Welcome to the Expansion Project with Alex Oredola and Stephanie Chenes. Listen and process life with us.
All right, I think we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Oh man, we made it.
This is exciting.
This is it. We did it. We pressed record and now there's no turning back. So
this is the real deal.
This is the real deal. Oh my gosh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Expansion Project.
Woohoo! We're so pumped.
We're so pumped. We did it. All right. I guess we can start by just giving ourselves an introduction. But my name is Alex Oredola. I am the Youth and Young Adults Coordinator and I guess Worship Coordinator here at Glad Tidings Community Church.
Yeah.
And to my left is...
Hi, I'm Stephanie Chenes.
Stephanie Chenes.
I am the lead administrator and also the women's director.
Yes, she is.
Wow. Look at us.
Dude, I can't believe it. This feels so official.
We're so excited.
Is it possible to nerd out about ourselves? I feel like we're nerding out.
We are hyping ourselves up as we speak.
Yeah, so
this is great.
We're very kind of new to this to the podcasting game.
Yeah,
but Steph just approached me and she had a dream in her heart, and she was like, Can we do this? And I'm like, I don't see why we can't do this. And so... No,
we had to.
Yeah, we had to.
We had to.
And so just a lot of planning and putting stuff together and, diversions aside with me injuring myself and us having to...
It was so sad.
Put a break on this.
I was like, oh man. Yeah. I was like, what happened to you? Then I was like, whoa, what about the podcast? I wonder if we're going to do that again.
Just for some context, I broke my ankle like maybe, I don't know, a week and a half after we decided to do this. And I had, in the chaos of it all, I had completely forgotten. And then like day 2, I was just sitting on my couch recovering and I was like, oh right, the podcast.
Yeah.
So, Steph was just, really patient and,
So patient.
Yeah.
But now here we are. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Listen, there isn't anyone else I'd rather do a podcast than with you.
Same.
We literally get to be ourselves.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yes.
There's no pressure, no stress. Mm-hmm. We're just having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think, and you can obviously speak to this. When you talked to me about this, you wanted one of the goals to be us just kind of being ourselves, talking about life,
right?
And also kind of bringing in some, just some of what our pastor is talking about, what's going on in our church, and just kind of make a relatable conversation that people can kind of connect with, And does that kind of line up with what you were thinking for this?
Yeah, because sometimes it's when you work in ministry, you want people to see you as a human too. I am just like the person who just walked in the door. I have the same problems, the same thoughts. So I was like, why can't we all just process life together?
Come on.
And let people know, hey, the same struggles you're facing, I'm facing too.
Preach it.
But
that's so relatable.
We need a platform to talk about
right.
it.
Yeah, exactly that. So, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly it. And so, This is it. This is it. Even right now, as we're talking, we're still kind of processing.
We're processing the whole thing together right now.
So we wanted to kind of our conversations where we wanted to make this first episode super light and just kind of talk about who we are, but also kind of, give a brief overview of what we want this to be.
Exactly.
And so I guess we can kind of start with just some of the ideas we have for the show.
Yeah. I really like how you said we can talk about Sunday sermons because now more than ever we're seeing a move of God in this church.
Yes.
And it's so important. Sometimes after service, hey, you just need to talk about what happened. Like, and we can do that here.
Yeah.
And we can expound on it more than we normally would be able to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is exciting.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's absolutely true. You know, like you finish listening to a sermon from Pastor Dave or whoever's preaching, and if you're like me, you have like a list of things that are thoughts that you have, you know, things that you want to discuss, and yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think that we are able to kind of like at least, you know, process our thoughts, and then if you guys have thoughts that are similar, you know, you can kind of process with us, and maybe we can even do something where we can have you guys, you know, kind of chime in with us, like maybe send in thoughts that you have, or maybe like a hotline. I don't know.
Call us.
Oh my goodness, yo, that would be so official. Oh, man.
We need to get that up in order.
Yeah.
We need to get that working.
We'll iron out the details.
Don't worry.
That'd be really cool. But yeah, that's kind of the goal here. We wanna process life with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, in the sphere of what God is doing in your life and in your world, but also just personally, you know, things that are going on personally with you guys and with us, you know, we want to share that. So, yeah.
It's basically like God gave us this opportunity for all of you listening to know, like, we're here with you. Mm-hmm. And if you're going through something, like, you can reach out to us and talk to us about it. And a lot of things that we'll be talking about, you're probably like afraid to even open up about in your own personal life. Like, you'll come to church every week, but you won't talk about that thing. Yeah. Well, this is an opportunity for maybe that thing to be brought up, and we can talk about it and, you know, help people. Yeah. That's ultimately what we want to do. Yeah. Yeah. This is for you, the listeners. Yeah.
Also, a thought I just had was we could probably talk a bit about our title, the title of this podcast, the Expansion Project.
The Expansion Project.
Yeah. Kind of how we settled on that name. I guess, funnily enough, we were actually struggling to come up with a title for this podcast. Yeah. And the title of this episode. The title of this episode is Chit Chat about this and that.
That's correct.
Which was actually.
I wanted that to be the title of our podcast so bad.
That was almost the title of this whole podcast. It was Chit Chat about this and that.
Yeah.
But we ended up going with something a bit more, I guess, a bit easier to, I don't know, process. I guess. Yeah. A bit more like.
Seems like a little bit more professional for us.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I did want to go with that name for a bit. Yeah.
I know.
So I definitely,
okay.
And so we ended up going with the Expansion Project, and it was something we stumbled upon actually. Mm-hmm. But we decided, hey, that kind of fits.
Yeah. It does. It fits with the heartbeat of our church because we're growing. We're always expanding, and you know, like I said, God's just doing such an amazing. The Holy Spirit is just falling, doing an amazing work here. Like, man, like the sky's the limit. Yeah. Even beyond. Like we're just growing and expanding. So
yeah, exactly. It fits in that realm because we're seeing growth in this church, and you know, once again, this is something we can chop up and talk about in these episodes. But something I recently thought about too, and we actually a good friend of ours, Robbie. Worked on our graphic, or one of the graphics that we're going to be using to talk about and promote the show. He had us holding rubber bands and stretching them apart, which he thought was really cool. It was his idea, and I was kind of blown away because that's also a part of it. Expansion is also being stretched too, and being like pulled, you know, and that in and of itself is such a huge aspect of the Christian walk, is being stretched, you know,
so true.
And being pushed to your limits, right? And having God enable you to do the things that you previously thought were impossible, right?
Right.
I thought that was pretty rad, and that also fits. You know, it's like
it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, right? Like
literally.
It's kind of nuts. Like I didn't even realize that at first, but here we are. And
now that you're saying it,
yeah.
I'm like looking back on the graphic and I'm like, that's totally true.
Yeah.
Like God stretches us. And like, even like through these episodes, we can talk about like the process of even being stretched, sometimes how painful that could be for us and what, like sometimes like when I was being stretched, like I would just have like maybe like some anxieties and worries, but you'll be able to see like God have your hand on you through that whole stretching process.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I know.
I mean, just look at us right now. Okay. We're being stretched with the podcast.
Come on now. You're not wrong.
Okay. We're preaching to ourselves here for a second.
I needed this word.
We are growing and we are doing what God wants us to do.
Yes.
As sometimes uncomfortable as it may seem, because I was a little nervous before you press record.
Yeah.
But to know, like, wow, what you got out of that graphic, God's doing in us too right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. But how about you tell us about yourself, Steph? Like, let's introduce ourselves. We'll talk a bit about what we do here at Glad Tidings. But I'll turn it over to you, Steph. Who are you? Who are you?
Who am I? I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
No, I grew up in the church. My parents got saved when I was 4. So they started attending North Providence Assembly, which is now Restoration Church, when I was 4 years old. So I grew up in that church, got married in that church. My faith was cemented there. And I'm just so grateful that, my parents really, from a young age, taught me to have a firm foundation in the Lord. I did have 2 major losses when I was 21. My boyfriend passed away, and then 10 months later, my dad passed away. So right then and there, I kind of like fell back a little bit from the church. Of course, I was looking to fill the voids that I had in my heart. But I'm so grateful and thankful for the power of prayer and who God puts in your life to pray for you, because obviously I'm back. And it took a while, but I'm grateful for that. And of course, I married my best friend, Jared Chenes. I know Jared since I was 4, so this guy knows everything about me.
Actually, I didn't know you knew him that far back. That's crazy.
I was 4, and I think he was 7?
Oh, wow.
He was a little older.
Get out of here.
He probably didn't even notice me then. I mean, I was 4. I was interested in, rainbows and butterflies. But,
Sure, yeah.
But no, I'm just super grateful. And then we came here, I believe, in 2018, maybe the beginning of 2019. And ever since we came here, man, I mean, God's just done a work. It was hard for me to leave there because that was my home. Those were my friends. That was my family. And I literally fought God for a little bit because I didn't want to leave that comfort. But like you said, the stretching period.
There you go.
I had to take that step of faith. I had to come here, walk through these doors, be uncomfortable for a little bit, but then I saw God move. And I'm so grateful and thankful to everyone here who literally just opened up their arms and said, welcome. Because you don't get that anywhere. There's something special and unique here, and we can feel it when we enter this church. So it's pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
And then Pastor Dave asked Jared to be his associate. And then a few years later, I came on as the women's director, and then I also started working here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
Isn't that crazy?
It's amazing. Man, he's good.
I know. I remember when I first heard that you were going to be working here, I was like, yes. Yes.
Side note, Alex and I have known each other for how long?
Since I started going to North Providence, because I also went to North Providence.
Yeah.
So, wow, 2000 and I want to say either 6 or 7 was when I moved here from Maryland. Moved back to Rhode Island from Maryland. So, around then. So, It's been a minute. Yeah.
I was 17.
Oh, wow.
I'm 33.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We've known each other for that long.
That's insane. Yeah. That makes sense then.
That's pretty cool.
And I used to, so I'll go into a bit into my history while I also explain how we met. But I also went to North Providence Assembly of God. I grew up in Rhode Island. For those of you listening out of state, we are in Rhode Island, which is a small state that nobody's ever heard of.
The smallest.
But we live in Rhode Island. This church is located in Chipatcha, Rhode Island. But I was born and raised in Rhode Island. I moved to Maryland for 8 years. Didn't like it. Very sad, and just got, just went through a lot of bullying and stuff like that. And moved back here to Rhode Island, where I went to a youth group, Consumed Youth Group, which was located at North Providence Assembly of God, where Steph was, and I found that youth group, and it was just like unbelievable, the transformation that God put on my heart. I left all that bitterness behind over time and just was transformed, and it was a great period of my life. And I met Pastor Dave then, who is now my boss, and I went to that youth group. I discovered my love for music and worship, and started, eventually went from playing worship to leading worship, and over time just kind of became a leader and started leading worship on Sunday services. And then Pastor Dave, Pastor Dave became the lead pastor here at Glad Tidings, and he approached me while I was going to Bible college and basically asked if I wanted to be the youth director here at Glad Tidings. And I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. It wasn't on my radar to work with teens and their problems. To just be real, like, I was there. I don't know if I want to go back there, And so, but I prayed about it, and over the summer, God spoke to me and said that He wanted me to work with youth. And so I took the job on and started working with Pastor Dave. And Pastor Jared, right? And then after a while, Steph came on, and like I knew her from North Providence, and so we had just had this history. Everybody here that I work with, I knew from that church, so it's like we're all friends, we're all family basically already.
We worked under Pastor Dave at North Providence. He was the youth pastor, and we were his youth leaders. So our training actually began many years ago.
Many years ago, and now it's all coming to fruition.
Okay, and he still hired us. So what's that tell you?
Exactly. Like, we're doing something right.
We are doing something right.
Exactly. He was like, I'll still pick you. It's all good.
Thank you, Pastor Dave. We love you. We appreciate the opportunity.
For believing in us. Literally. But so and now we're both here. We're both doing our thing. We're just kind of seeing God do His thing here at this church. And it's just a great time. Like, it's been really great. We're kind of coming out of a busy season in the church. At least for us, the staff. We're entering probably another busy season pretty soon.
Wait, hold on. When is there never a busy season?
I know. I had that thought. I was like, it looks pretty chill for a bit, and then it was like, no.
This week has been chill.
This week has been very chill.
You were like, oh wait, we can record this week because it's so chill. Next week, not so much.
So that's actually a good segue. We should probably kind of talk about the nuts and bolts of what this show is and how we're going to be like uploading. So we're still figuring out what the show is. We're kind of just jumping in first. We're not entirely sure how often we're going to upload, but we're thinking like maybe once or twice a month at the moment. And as we start to, get our feet wet, we'll know what we want to do for sure going forward. But so we're just going to do these episodes. We're aiming for under a half an hour, and we're just going to talk about our lives and about what's happening in the church. We may bring some people on to talk with us.
We may have some guests. Appearances. Woohoo!
Guests you may know, guests you may not know. We're going to talk about just what's going on specifically at this church, or maybe even current events, or who knows. Like
the sky's the limit.
The sky's literally the limit. We don't know what we're gonna do, but that's the fun of it. We're really excited.
It's fun to see like where we are now, and then where, like a few years down the road, like we can look back and be like, wow. Mm-hmm. Like, remember we were sitting in the missions cafe planning a podcast, and then look what God has done.
I know.
It's exciting.
That's pretty cool.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
We're just amazed.
Man, it's so cool. But so that's where we're at. I'm trying to check the time and see
how are we doing?
It has been,
look at us.
Let's see here. I can't really tell. But I think it's been a minute. So
a minute?
No, I mean like a minute as in like it's been a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here then.
Okay.
But yeah, Steph, do you have any closing remarks before we?
Yeah, just when you listen to these podcasts, have an open mind, open heart, and just know like God sees you. He sees you where you're at. He sees your struggles, and whatever comes from this, know He is in it. And He is here to help you every single step of the way. And hopefully we can be a help. Yeah. Because listen, sometimes like people think they're alone, but you're not alone. There's always someone in your corner. And, if you feel connected with us, hey, maybe this is going to be your jam. Maybe you listening to this podcast is what is going to help you get through the day or even the next hour. So we thank you for listening.
Yeah, for sure. Right? I agree with that. Yeah, look, we hope we can be a service and a help to you.
Right.
In a way that is, understandable and relatable. Like we want to make ourselves accessible in many ways, and we hope that this is one of those ways that we can be that to you, right? Yeah. And so, I absolutely agree. Yeah, we hope we can be of service to you. And I'm excited for the future of this. And
I'm excited too.
What this is.
The Expansion Project.
The Expansion Project. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Tell your family. Tell your friends. Spread the word. We're out here.
And then tell us.
Tell us. Yeah.
Tell us.
Let us know.
Let us know how it's going.
Exactly. Yeah. Please do.
or maybe like a topic.
Yeah. Exactly.
You want us to talk about.
Something you want to. Yeah. We can totally incorporate some stuff like that. But
we're here.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna cut it there, but we hope you guys are blessed, and we're praying for y'all. We love y'all.
We love you guys so much.
We do, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.